we need all the caucus reps to talk to your PTAs in your state, because we are hearing that this denial of payment for PTA services is on the rise. So we want to gather from every state stories. And so I put that out on the PTA listserv and actually got two or three examples.
I was one of those.
Were you, Beth?
Specific source, yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
I need to talk to you too.
My group that went to fought Pacific Source. So.
Yeah, are they still doing it?
So you won.
Okay.
You did win. Yep.
See, that's what you told me, and so anyway, but it's happening. And what happened in Kansas, Blue Cross Blue Shield, effective January 1st, is only going to pay 50% for PTA or OT assisted services. Their argument, when you read the article, is the disparity in education level. So.
You see exactly what I talked about. You want to share what we talked about? The example that, yes, there are some PTAs that have 3 or 4 years of education.
Oh, yeah.
And there are some PTs that have 4 years of education as bachelor's. There are some PTAs that have athletic trainer degrees plus additional training as PTA. So I just think that's a very weak argument.
It is a very weak argument, and but the thing, this is why we need to have an association, and this is why I need to be talking with people, because I'm kind of funneling info to them. So I really appreciate you giving that info too. And just today, our association president sent out an email. She said, I just heard from Kansas, the president of the Kansas chapter, and he got an email from someone in Oregon who said that Pacific Incorporated, which I'm pretty sure they meant Pacific Source, is denying payment. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that happened a few years ago, but it was stopped because, people were not going to allow. But anyway, that's a really hot topic right now that the board, the OPTA board, and I sit on the board of directors there, and brought that up at their meeting to just let them know, if you hear of any insurers doing this is something that the association will get involved in. There's a reimbursement committee, a reimbursement chair. And in healthcare reform, people are going to be looking at places where they can cut dollars. And so that's just our job, to be educating people that at education level, regardless, when I'm doing a procedure, I'm still got my PT there. You're not just paying me for my hands doing the procedure, and they happen to be a little bit cheaper than the PTs. The PT's supervising and is still in charge of that, and it's a skilled, still under their management, even though it's a PTA providing that skill. So anyway, that's an example of a recent hot topic that we kind of get involved in. So
I was just going to say, my one day experience with the OPTA, I participated in Legislative Day.
Oh,
so
good.
You get to go to Salem, and OPTA sets up a day where the legislative, the people who make decisions about laws in Oregon, where you are on the agenda. And we have a lobbyist, and the OPTA had position points, and they said, if you're a member, we'd like you to come, and we'd like you to take our information onto the floor. And so the issue was, in Oregon, you can put PT after your initials and not be a physical therapist. That could be a personal trainer.
Right.
So there were people, my name is Christina Howard PT, and they could be personal trainer, not physical therapist. And there was no law preventing them from doing that. So in one day, with Legislative Day, we had our talking points. We got debriefed by our lobbyists, debriefed by our president. They said, where do you live? I said, live in Eugene. Your representative is Paul Holby. Go down to the floor, give it to the page. They ran it out to Paul Holby, who then comes out to talk to me because I'm his constituent, and says, hi, how can I help you? I introduced myself, said, did you know in our state this? He goes, well, that sounds silly. Really? That sounds silly? Yes, and, we really want to make sure that, I'm a physical therapist, I'm a small business, and I want to make sure that people in our city, when they go see someone with PT, they know they're safe and they're treated effectively. He's like, well, yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense to me. It was 30 seconds, but it was, without the professional association, and without my membership with them, I would never, one, have that experience. It was amazing to just feel like I'm connecting to this whole process in Salem. And two, it seemed so easy. It's like, all I had to do was tell you, and really? Wow, that doesn't sound right.
They're people.
And then, then it starts to kind of move forward as part of that process. And so I was able to do that because someone at the association set it up, publicized it, invited it, told us how to feel competent by telling us what to do, because we were all new at it. And there was a whole bunch of students there as well, and it was really exciting.
Mhm.
And it happens every 2 years, right? Every 2 years. It's really fun.
So, I mean, those are, it really, I've never been kind of like a really political person too, but it just really, the biggest thing that I got going to the House of Delegates and sitting in there watching all these people out on the floor is it just hit me like, what great, not only brain power, but just really committed, compassionate people there are in the association who don't get paid to go and they volunteer their time in order to do things like what Christine, you didn't get paid to do that, did you? So, you know, it's very...
We'll pair of sunglasses afterwards.
Yeah. So it's just really very awe-inspiring and powerful. Number one, to see all these like people you read about in the magazine that are up there talking and, you know, and learning stuff, but just to be a part of that kind of profession where like I said, we've got a great profession, we've got a great association that is very large and very strong, and we are changing, and we just need to kind of make sure that we're steering things, kind of making sure that the PTAs are included in discussions.
Yeah, and as Jennifer's kind of discussing this, I think Jennifer's going to bring also how, or Jen, to sign up for the
Yes.
OBTA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
I know some of you are probably getting a little bit looking at the time clock, saying I got to get up tomorrow and be at clinic at 7 a.m. or I got to get home and study for that exam.
And we've got
For
snacks.
Christina's class.
So I've got the emerging leader applications,
Okay,
but you
great.
also have a copy, but I'll give those to you. Those are some fun copies. So I have here some brochures about the APTA. You just learned more from me probably than you're going to get with that, but just to get the general idea of why especially us assistants need to be getting involved. We're a very small portion of the association. We currently in Oregon are only 6% of the members, or 6% of PTAs are members. So the people, you know, there's nobody steering our boat, basically. We really need to kind of push to get some people in. Dues for students average to, you pay the dues structure is you pay the APTA dues, and then there's a chapter dues. And then if you want to do a section like orthopedic or geriatric and stuff like that. So, but if you get in as a student, it's cheaper. It averages about 22 cents a day. The chapters are a little different. Oregon's pretty average for its chapter dues. So I've got a few hard copy applications, like 3 of them here, if you guys want to take a look. But the easiest way is probably just to go online.
Go to the website.
We're all used to that. And then I'll give some of these things here. Do you guys have any questions? I know I talked a lot.
We have spring conference coming up and
Yes.
next year.
Yeah,
and it's going to be...
Go ahead.
The House of Delegations that you're talking about, you said it's next year when, for those of us
Oh,
that are in
in
clinical
June.
rotations?
In June.
Do you know the date?
It's usually the second weekend of June.
Yeah, it's in the teens. The teens. Yeah.
Graduation?
I'm usually leaving your finals early to go, or it's right after your finals.
So the point is, Christina and Beth will work with you.
Yeah.
If you can select it.
I so
Like me and
encourage
Mary.
it. Yeah.
It's an online lecture, so you can
The Blue Cross Blue Shield in Kansas, is that still denying it, or?
Yes, they are, but the thing with that is Blue Cross Blue Shield has to get provider numbers. They have to get the permission to have provider numbers for PTAs, which right now we don't have our own providers numbers that PTs do. And Medicare does not allow, Medicare, which is the gold standard that all insurances go by, does not allow PT assistants. They don't give us NPI numbers, so it's really unlikely that they're going to be able to do that. But the fact that they're trying, and that we have little spots of people who are trying that, probably tells us as an association we need to get on that. Yeah.
You can't sleep on these issues. You got to be involved.
Yeah.
I think it's real crucial to be on the inside versus the outside looking in. Because being passive, and this is your future, this is your profession, and you have to care. I mean, if you don't care, then it kind of, I don't know. I think this is the association making decisions for you, and it's better to be part of the process than being the outside of the process. to change that 7% membership up to 20% membership.
Yeah,
And I can assure you, if it's 20%, there's a very good chance you're probably going to get a full vote eventually.
Yeah, and the
Maybe
PTs
not,
are fabulous.
that's
They
the
have
issue
one of the
for you.
strongest, I think 40% nationally, PTs are members. And, you know, PTAs really need to be right there. Huh?
Since 1993?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep. And they say, you know,
1997.
it's really not as intimidating as it sounds. I'm just saying, when I was really intimidated for a long time with it, thinking that I had to be like invited in to do that, or I had to have some knowledge, and I'd someday get to that point. And it really is just a lot of common sense, fairness, what's best for the patient, you know, keeping your vision in mind. And it's a lot of just discussion like we're having right now. It's nothing rocket science, or, you know, it's very much just talk and opinion gathering and stuff. So.
And just the networking opportunity.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing.
For
So
jobs.
I would say at least 5 students this term are out at clinical sites that were set up because of one of us going to a function. And actually one of them was in Boston last summer.
Yeah.
And I met someone there and we set up a clinical site. So that's where you're getting some of your clinical sites. That's how I found a job 3,000 miles away.
Well,
And I went to Student Conclave as a student. And I still have contacts from when I was a student. So you run into people in different states and you file away business cards, and if there's an issue, you have a problem, you have a patient who's moving to Phoenix, Arizona. Hey, guess what? I know a PT in Phoenix, Arizona, and I'm going to set you up with someone who can continue your care, and I will send them your information. So it's amazing just the networking that can happen. This on a professional level, on a personal level. I see people every year at these clinical or at these annual conferences. And now that I'm in education, I'm going to keep seeing them because they're the ACCEs at my other schools, and we're on this listserv, batting information back and forth. So a lot of things that have already affected all of you have been impacted by those relationships that I formed just through these events. And it's phenomenal, and that really makes you feel like a big warm fuzzy, that you have this whole group working for you, you know, you're not just out there on your own, you have this great big support network. So
Absolutely.
I encourage that piece a lot too.
And you're just constantly nudged when you're part of that association. You know, why don't you take this class? You know, why don't you think about taking this class? Because you're meeting all these professionals, and they're going to nudge you to grow. And that's really, really important, to have that push to take more classes, to advance your education, to become more competent in your skills.
So spring conference is a really great opportunity if you guys can come to that. There's going to be a presentation by a PT named Brett Windsor, who I took one course from, and I absolutely loved him. He does manual therapy instruction, kind of post-entry level stuff that you can advance your skills on. And he's going to be teaching that in the spring. Spring conference is April 30th this year.
And where is it at this year?
Portland. And it'll be on the website. We're also redesigning the conferences a little bit. For 2012, it's going to be like a whole different setup, where it's going to be kind of a lot of different topics where you can do 2 hour here, 2 hour here, 2 hour here, as opposed to like an all-day workshop, and kind of get to know some different techniques where you can get more interested. I'd like to learn more about that, so you get a little taste of everything, kind of a smorgasbord kind of idea. So I might encourage that. Brett is really, really fabulous. We talked about having it be just for PTAs, because that's kind of what he's done for us before, is kind of PTA focus, but I believe they're going to open it to PTs too. We thought we'd let them. So anyway, thank you for having me. I'll kind of hang out if you guys have another question afterwards, but hopefully it helped clarify things a little bit.
Yeah, so here's the applications. For those that were asking about the application.